Hey everybody, welcome to Post Point Podcast, our anything and everything podcast. I'm Braden.
And I'm Nina.
And today we're going to be talking about a new law that was voted in for Washington State about changing smoking and chewing laws to 21. So there's been 9 states, or we will be the 9th state, to change this age.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it doesn't affect me personally. I'm not somebody who does smoke in any capacity. But honestly, I mean, I think it's a good step and an important step to take. But at the same time, I think that people who already are underage smoking, they're not going to stop, right? Or people who are 18, they're not going to stop. People who are 20, they're not going to stop. So it doesn't really do much for people who are already smoking. It might deter people in the future because it might be considered something more... It's like, I feel like when there's like a restriction on something, it's like a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it might be like, oh, I shouldn't do that. But honestly, laws like that, I think, are just kind of like... We have this law because it's a good law to have, you know what I mean? But people don't actually follow it, and not a lot of people truly get penalized for it.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, I'd say there's been statistics, I don't know exact numbers over the years, that, like, cigarette smoking has gone down a lot. And, yes, vaping has, like, rose a ton.
Yeah, a lot.
And, like, I feel like, I don't know if you deal with it when you're in high school and everything, but, like, in my high school at least, it was, like, in between generations. Like, you had like some of the older seniors when I was freshman who were smoking like cigarettes more and stuff, but then now you like younger, like now that I'm graduated, I go and look at like the freshmen and sophomore there now, and they're all like
vaping
juuling
and all that fun stuff.
And like Edenville's a kind of hick town, so we have a lot of people who chew and do all that stuff, but
fun.
So I feel like it might affect them, but the only way that it isn't gonna affect is like freshmen and sophomore would ask like seniors to go buy them, you know, Juuls or chew or that stuff, and that will, it might be able to drop the amount in schools a little bit, but
even still,
there's a lot of ways to still get it.
Yeah, for sure. Out of when they voted for it, it was 33 to 12, so it was a pretty high number. Voting for the bill. And I think that shows that a lot of people want to eliminate this. Because, you know, with cigarette smoking going down and the rise of, like, juuling and vaping and stuff going up, there's kind of this whole new, like... It started out as being, like, get off of cigarettes, try vaping, right?
Yeah.
And now it's turned into this whole new thing. And it's just, like, it's really introduced... It's basically, like, cigarettes 2.0, you know what I mean?
It pretty much is. Like, it's like one step better for you, but, like, it's still not great.
It's still real bad, yeah.
And, like, I vaped in high school, and, like, starting... in that phase of when vaping was popular, like just getting popular, like it was like, it seemed like it was way worse too. Like if you looked at like what was in the e-juice, like it was not like, right now it's just like, don't quote me on this, but it's like vegetable glycerin and something else, something glycerin that are combined, and they're like both fairly good products. They're not better like than chemical,
were, right? Yeah.
But like, when you first started, if you looked at what was in e-juice, it was like real bad. And I like found a little bottle that when I used to do it, and I was like, oh,
You're like, why did I do this to myself?
Why did I do this? Yeah. And like now I'm like, okay, it's just stupid in my opinion to like.
Yeah, well, it costs a lot of money too. As a high school student or even like a younger college student.
Yeah.
Where do you get the money for that? Like, I work 2 jobs right now just to save up to go to college and everything. And it's like, man, I cannot think of putting, I don't even know how much, into what is like Juul pods. Like,
yeah, Juul pods are like.
That stuff's expensive.
For a pack of like 5 Juul pods, it's like $14 or something like that. And like, my friend, that would last him, like he smokes a good amount, and that would last him like a week and a half. Or like somebody like me who barely ever smoked, that would last me like 5 months. Like, it's insane the difference. But when you get to the point where you're vaping or like juuling like every day,
like socially, especially
all day,
with your friends
then you
and
like
stuff,
you go through it way
That's like
crazy.
And
one of my friends, she smokes cigarettes, and like, I didn't realize how expensive cigarettes are.
Cigarettes are so expensive.
They're like $11 a pack.
Yeah,
and,
people go through like a pack a day.
Yeah.
Which is also crazy. Another thing I think about too is like, where do you find the time as a student to do that? I guess it's like, there are like a lot of students that are actually good students who find the time to do that, and I cannot imagine that, right? Like finding time to do that socially and also get my schoolwork done. I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Could not do that.
I don't know. Smoking is definitely one of those things where like people either get peer pressured into it or think because it's, you know, it's a phase that goes around like Juul did.
Right,
and like they just get they think they'll be a better person or cooler around people
cool.
and
That's
if
the
they vape
yeah.
or
Well, and then like once you get stuck on it, it just kind of becomes part of your life. It's just something you do now. You don't really think about it too much.
And Juul is like so much nicotine in a Juul pod. Like
it's so bad for you. And there's like sophomores now doing it. Like you're 15 years old, 16 years old doing that, and you already have a nicotine addiction. I'm like, that's really bad.
Yeah.
So I think that the law in general is a good thing. However, it's not really, I don't think it's going to do too much. Because even, like, on campus here at Pierce College, there are students who are under 21 who are, like, vaping or doing walking around on campus, and nothing happens to them.
No. And I think long-term, maybe, it'll affect when, like, these generations are gone, and it's, like, the younger,
hopefully.
like, 9, 10-year-olds now, when they turn 18, I think that, like, maybe they won't be affected as much.
Yeah, the whole, like, new phase. Because after, like, cigarette smoking was a really big thing. It started going down. People were like, that's so bad for you, blah, 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 blah. I think that is going to happen again, like you said, like with juuling. It's like, that's so bad for you. There's going to be like more, like, there's already reports and everything about like how this isn't good for you. Nicotine addictions when you're a teenager are not good, but more so as time goes on. Because I remember being a kid, like in elementary school and seeing like, they'd show you like photos of lungs of people who have been smoking and how bad it is. And I feel like once stuff like that really becomes like prominent again, that'll probably cut down more than like the bill itself.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know, like, I mean, obviously it's good for people, but, like, if you look at it in the sense of business, I was just thinking
about that.
Like, it's like, some people would be like, oh, why are you taking, like, you know, the tobacco company side on this? But I'm like, to be honest, though, like, a vape shop or, like, even, like, gas stations selling cigarettes and stuff, like, to lower that business is going to have an effect on them for sure.
It is for sure, yeah. And, I mean, at that point, it's also, too, it's like you have to think about, you know, do those people, in a weird, like, ethical sense, care about what's happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like even people who do smoke or who are addicted to smoking or whatever, they're like, you shouldn't smoke, you know what I mean? Because you realize, especially after a certain point, I feel like you realize, like, this is really affecting me negatively, at least for a lot of people, right? And so in those cases, it's like, business is going down, and that's also really bad. But also, if you're somebody who's like, I want more people to be smoking so that I can keep getting money, it's like, oh, kind of like the back and forth. It's kind of like the back and forth.
So I agree with that. So, I mean, I wouldn't say this law is going to be a negative thing at all. But
you're still going to have
it's just going to be, you're going to have people
You're still going to have people doing it and buying. And I feel like a lot of places, like we talked about earlier, too, like you and I personally, like, it's going to take a while to enforce these laws.
Yeah, and I don't even know, like, because, like, even if you look at, like, the Washington law, or I guess it's kind of a national law where you have to get a new license that allows you to fly, like, domestic. Washington State hasn't, put that in law yet, and they're not putting it until October of, I think it's next year. I don't even think it's this year. And it voted in, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
It took, like, 4 years to actually make it, like, go into effect.
So by the time this one goes into effect, it's, like...
A lot of people are going to be either 21 already that are freaking out about this now.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's Washington laws. Sometimes, I mean, this is a good idea, but putting it into effect, sometimes Washington can be kind of slow on that.
It's just going to take a while. Yeah. So as far as just, like, thinking about business, like, going back to that, I think there's still going to be a good amount of business, because I feel like, I don't know, I guess because of the culture that we're both in, we know a lot of, like, younger people who do that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's, like I'm driving all the time, also, like, adults, right? When their cars vaping or, like, juuling, right? And they're, like, in their, like, 40s, and I'm like, okay, this is not just, like, a young person thing.
No, it's definitely, it's, like, both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that some people, like, did try to get off of cigarettes with juuling or vaping, which could be a good thing, because, you have people that are in their 40s, 50s that smoke since they're 18, you know?
And it's like, you want to get off of that, that's good.
It's helped them get off, but then, everybody else that's, like, 15, 16 now is trying to get into it.
It's totally the back and forth of, like, for people wanting to get off of smoking, it's helped them, right? Like, get rid of that addiction and everything. But then on the way the opposite end, it's introduced this new thing to it. Because, like, I feel like we were so ingrained in our minds as kids, like, don't smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad.
That's kind of what it was for me, too. It's like, cigarettes, no,
we had that whole thing. And then, but now this other thing was introduced, like, juuling. And all these kids are like, I can do that. That's cool. That's, like, trendy or whatever. And so it's kind of like the entire thing got shifted where it's like it's helping you guys, but it's really detrimental to young people.
Yeah. So, what time are we at? We're at 11 minutes.
11 minutes.
You can go to war and go join the army at 18, but you can't smoke a cigarette or, get a chew. Like,
That's interesting. I feel like especially because I feel like a lot of people in the military smoke. Is that just like a thing, or is that like my brain?
No, I think that's true.
So like is that gonna be enforced within the U.S.
I don't think it
military?
is. Because like, I've had friends who, we should ask Steven this, but I've had friends that are on base and can drink at 18.
Yeah.
So like they allow you to drink at 18 in some bases, and like.
Because you're around also like so many people who are, and it's so hard to like section people off.
Yeah.
So how is that going to be? Yeah, how is like the new smoking?
I don't think it'll go into effect in bases. I think
probably
that
not.
Fort Lewis and all of the ones in Washington, they'll
probably just stay where they are because it'd be so hard to enforce that there. Yeah. Like so difficult.
And I think it's one of those like almost like stress relieving things.
Yeah.
So like you're in such a high tense
they're kind of like, we'll give you guys
like,
this.
Like, go do what you want. So.
Yeah, that is interesting though, the concept of like you can go off to war, you can get married, you can like legally like take control of your entire life at this point.
And you'll be able to vote.
And you'll be able to vote, make decisions for our country.
But
you
can't won't be able to smoke. Yeah.
Suck in that nicotine air.
So, I don't know. It's definitely a weird topic to like go into detail on, because it's like we're not super opinionated on it.
Yeah.
But like somebody who's addicted
they might have more to
out
say
right
about
now.
it.
Yeah, you know, like, so.
But like you said too, like honest, like I don't even know. It'd take a while to get everything into effect, and so I feel like a lot of people too, or people know like, well, I know my like where I go, they'll still give me my stuff, right? Yeah. Or I'll still be able to get what I need from the people that I talk to. It's like I feel like a lot of businesses, they build that relationship with their customers, right? The people come in to get their whatever juice or their pods or their cigarettes or whatever, so they know the people. And I feel like it'd be hard for them at that point to be like, sorry, I can't do this anymore.
And that's what I've wondered too, is like, there's a store near my house that like, they don't ID anybody. And like,
so it's like,
are they even gonna
how many
ID
places
anymore?
Yeah, because if they want to sell stuff, if they know they're losing a good part of their consumers, it's like,
yeah, they might.
And who's checking on them, right? That's another thing too. It's like if they're just doing.
And like, let's say Washington, you know, they don't exactly say when the law goes into effect. They're just like, oh, it'll go into effect sometime in September, and then like, just walk in and they're like, oh, it's 21 now. I'd be like, oh, really? And are they really not gonna sell to you?
Nobody's
like,
gonna. I feel like it's gonna be very difficult to.
There'll be like a long transition phase, I think,
yes.
of like, oh, we'll still like kind of, you know.
Yeah, for the people that we already know, right? It's like the kids who come in who are like 18, all the way through them being 21, they'll probably still be able to get whatever they need, especially if they have like a reputable like place that they go often. You know, like new people coming in, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But it's difficult.
Yeah.
With that.
So it'll be interesting to see when it happens, but
yeah.
I know it's been talked about for a while, and they finally got it voted in.
Yeah,
so.
It's a good step to take, but it's gonna be a good while before we actually see any results from it. Yeah.
For sure. So, alrighty, I think that's it for this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. You can follow us on social media at the Puyallup Post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. We're going to be posting some more Instagram stories and maybe even try to update our Snapchat some more in the next few months, weeks, so on. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe down below, and there'll be more content coming later. Talk to you guys.